Okay, happy Monday morning to you all. I need to get the PCX150 prepped for my scooter trip coming up this weekend. I'll be meeting Neil and Adrian and maybe a couple of other people out in the northeast Texas area for a 3-day moto camp. It's just going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But anyway, I still have my flat tire on here from my last October trip and my failed scooter trip. I ended up taking the CB500X because of this bad boy. So anyway, I've got a new tire waiting for me over at Cycle Gear. So I need to pull the exhaust, pull the swing arm plate, and get the wheel off of there. Go take it over to them and let them swap it out. So this is that. Okay, so first and foremost is getting the exhaust out of there. So need to get underneath the bottom of it here with a 12 millimeter and about a 6-inch extension in order to reach that guy. And it's very cold out here this morning, by the way, and I apologize you're not going to be able to see anything, because I'm not going to try to crane the camera in under here. There's very little clearance. So I'll back off these exhaust flange bolts. This is pretty standard procedure for any scooters. Gotta pull the exhaust and the swing arm support bracket off the right side to get the wheel out of there. Okay, so that's loosened up. I need to get these three big ones out of here. They are 14. I think I'm going to cheat and just use the impact gun and make my life a little easier. Wrong way. Lefty loosey. If you got one of these, your life is easy. Of course, putting it back in, you need to torque it and go slow, obviously. Hey, there she goes. The shock bolt has to come off there, obviously, for that. This big old nut's got to come off there. I think that's a 24. I can't recall right offhand, but we'll just get in there and get her done. Lefty loosey. Not to bust the knuckles. Okay, so now that can slide kind of gently up and out of the way, and I can finagle the wheel out of there as soon as I get these other support bracket bolts out of the way. And that drops out, and now I got to take this big guy out of there. As I recall, it's 24. Yeah, on the money. Should probably put one support back in there just so that bracket doesn't go slinging around. Order is not terribly important, but yeah, use your common sense. You can always refer to the service manual, but when you do this a lot, you just kind of get a feel for what order things need to go in. Get that thing back out of there. Okay then, put that down. Gently work that guy out of there. And then these collars are important. Orientation, that goes into the bearing and the little grease boot and all that nonsense. So remember that when you put it back together. And now the fun part, trying to get the tire wheel out of there past the shock, and it is tight. I've seen some people say that you're supposed to remove the shock. Oh man, you have no idea what kind of a pain that is, because you got to pull the trunk tray out of it, which means a whole bunch of other plastic has to come out. So usually what I've been able to do is just maneuver this. I'll go grab another Allen. I need a 5mm Allen key and pop this side of the fender loose, and that gives you just the clearance you need. Okay, so here we are. 5mm Allen key. I'll spin this guy out, and that should give me all I need. Uh-oh, can I get enough torque on it? Yeah, there he goes. Give me enough room to slide that wheel out of there. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. You can do it. Yeah, there she goes. It's tight. It's tight. And this thing has got to go up. And that's got to go away. Oh, I got to get behind it. Got to change angles here. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, 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 it's fighting all the way. There we go. Don't kick the camera. Okay, so there's that. I'll take this over to Cycle Gear, have them swap-a-rooey it, and yeah, hopefully this thing will be ready for the road this weekend. All right, Cycle Gear, here we come. Yep, thanks. Trying to keep the grease off my clothes. Howdy, sir. Got it all, thanks, man. All right, so dropped it off. They can't do it right now. Hopefully before the end of the day. So back out we go. And I'm gonna stop by Wild West. Oh no, today's Monday. They're not open. Crap. All right, no, that's okay. I was gonna stop over at Wild West and pick up some fresh oil, but oh well. If they don't have the tire done today, then tomorrow will work just fine, and I'll stop at Wild West then. It's gonna be raining like crazy tomorrow. Looks beautiful out here right now, but we got like a 90% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. No bueno. Anyway, I'll catch up with you all in a bit. All right, everybody. I'm back here a couple hours later to pick it up. I got it all mounted up. I didn't notice if they balanced it. Doesn't look like it's been balanced. A lot of times these don't need to be balanced, but I'll go ahead and put that on my static balance stand and see if it's all true. Ugh. All right. Put the carpet condom down here. There we go. Okay, there it is. Mounted up, brand new. I'm going to grab my balancing stand, bring it out here, and see if this thing falls in balance. If it's pretty close, I won't bother putting any weights on it. If it definitely has a heavy spot, then I'll go ahead and balance it out and get it mounted up before the sun goes down. All right, everybody. Well, I got the wheel back from Cycle Gear, and it does look like it needs a little bit of weight on it because I've spun it a couple times and it always drops right here by the valve stem. And I tried putting just one or two weights at the opposite side of it, these little black stick-on MotionPro weights, but that's not enough. So I'm gonna start playing with how much I need to get this thing to balance out. And it's always a good idea to clean the rim real good so they stick. So let me do that right quick. And I'll put about 4 on there and see how that does. And if it doesn't do it, then put a few more. I'll just tack them on lightly until I check the balance. And you don't have to give it very much force, just a little bit to break the balance and see if it tips right back to the same spot. If it does, add more weight on the opposite side. Gotta keep going. Now I plan on putting ride-on tire sealant in here as well, but you know, you want to get it statically balanced as well as you can before you go adding other stuff to it. Yep, needs more weight. All right, now let's see what it does. If it balances out too hard on this side, then I know I've got too much. I need to pull one or two out of there and see if I start getting randomized stopping points. That's what you're after. Yep, too heavy on this side. Don't even need to let that balance out, because I can tell you it's too much. So we'll split out a couple of those. Look how fast it spins down to that other side though. Each one of these weights is 1/8 of an ounce. I don't know what that works out to in grams, but they are powder coated black steel. They're not lead. Looks like we've got a random stop right in the middle. That's pretty close. I could add a tiny bit more on that side, but then it would probably be too heavy on that end, so call it good enough. Okay, so let's see if we can finagle this wheel back into place. Make sure I wipe out the inside of my brake drum just in case the guys over at the shop got grease in there. Okay, she's ready to go back together. Now it's always fun getting in there past everything with a fully inflated tire, no less, and that's always a trick. I might have to let air out of this thing to give myself enough clearance. Kind of squash the tire profile down a little bit. It helps. And then air it up once you have it in place. Getting past the brake shoes and all the stuff is the fun part. Almost. You don't want to knock your brake shoes loose. Show what I'm looking at here. Getting it up and over is a little tricky because I'm either hitting the fender up here on the backside or dragging the wheel down here on the ground. So you can see I'm knocking my brake shoe loose. That's not good. You don't want it to pop off of the pivots, because then you got more work to do. So I think I'm gonna have to let the air out of this puppy. All right, let me show you what I did. I didn't even have to let the air out. I went ahead and removed the other screw. It's probably not going to show up on camera very well because it's dark in here, but there's another screw that goes right on the top of the fender, and it gives you just, you know, another 1/4 inch of clearance over on this side to be able to squeeze the tire in there. So that's what I did. Let's get to the rest of it, putting it together here, so I can keep you on camera. Oh. There we go. So, you got the wheel on. You just make sure that you're rotating a little bit and you engage the splines in here. Can't see that. I'll show the picture of that later. And we start reassembling all the collars and everything per the instruction manual that I'm not looking at right now because I remember how it came out. Collars facing this way. Now, these are already clean. I had cleaned these previously, you know, just a couple months ago when I went to do my road trip. And lightly grease them and everything like that. So I'm just gonna put them back in. I don't need to clean them off and re-grease them or anything yet. Not yet. They're still good to go. So we'll get that in there. We'll get this back in there. Oh, is it gonna get in there? Trying to keep you guys on camera and not seeing what I'm doing. Put one support up here, just to hang on to it. Hold on to it. Okay, slide her in. Get the other ones to locate it. I'm not tightening anything up yet, because you got to tighten this nut first. Now, we're going to crank that puppy down, and it needs, I want to say it's 46 pound-feet, something like that. I'm going to go look at the manual right this hot second, but I'm just going to put the nut on there for the moment. Making sure I'm not forgetting anything. Nope, that's it. It's a locking nut. So one side is smooth, the other side has got the recessed steel spring clip in there for the locking portion. So make sure the locking portion is facing out. That's what I remembered, is why I can remember it. It's not specified in the manual. This guy is 87 pound-feet for the rear axle nut, but the support hanger bracket here, they call it the swing arm. It's not the swing arm, it's a support bracket. You know, the swing arm is pretty much the engine housing on the other side. it's not specified in the manual. So what I usually do is get them down to about 35 or 40 foot-pounds, good and snug, and that's plenty good. 87. Now, holding the wheel still while you're doing this is always fun. Sometimes I'll pad a socket or a ratchet or something like that and throw it in there between the support bracket and the spokes of the wheel. You just don't want to break your spokes off. You know, damage your wheel is no bueno. So we're going to go this way with it. That ought to hold. We'll see. There's 87. Try not to push the bike off the center stand. Oh yeah, always remember to back off the tension on your torque wrenches so you don't skew the bars inside. If you leave them tensioned for long periods of time, it's generally a bad idea. Puts them out of spec. And I will finish tightening these others up, just getting them good and snug. Again, the torque spec is not listed in the service manual, which I find very odd. So I just go, Gert. Then the rest of it is the muffler hanger, so I'll bring the muffler in here in a minute. Let's put the shock support back in play. This guy's supposed to be about 18 pound-feet. It's not much. Getting in there is always fun. I don't have my small torque wrench out here. I guess I can run that one to 18, but it's not really that big a deal. I pretty much know where 18 gerts are, so there's 10, there's 18. I don't like using these big torque wrenches on these fasteners because they just never seem to be quite accurate, in my opinion. See, listen to that. That's all the click you get. You can barely even hear it or feel it with these big ones, so it's usually just smarter to do it by hand. Oh yeah, don't forget to put these fender bolts back in there. Good and tight. Can't get that one to line back up. Don't know what I done to it. When I lifted it, it popped out of something over here on this side, and I don't know what it popped out of to get it to line up. There it goes. It's the air cleaner over here. You gotta pry the air cleaner back in a way they mate together. So, oh, and of course, Murphy, it's over here where I can't reach it. And it's just plastic in here, so not too tight, just good and snug. Okay then, muffler. One more note on reinstalling your muffler. When you've had it off, make sure that you still have your exhaust gasket. Okay, having GoPro issues, so I have no idea how much I lost, if I lost. It's time to put the exhaust back on. What I was mentioning a moment ago, before the camera freaked out, is you want to make sure that you get the exhaust gasket right here. Make sure that's still in there, or on the head side. If you're missing, it's going to have a nice exhaust leak and no good for the bike. So, maneuvering this thing back in here, you need to get the bottom end in first for the head. And how I usually do it is I will hang one of the bolts right up here in the middle, and then maneuver from there, because I can still tip it around. If you put in the back one or too many of them all at once, you can't maneuver. You'll never get the exhaust flange on there. Okay. Come on. You can do it. Yes, you can. There you go. Little cap bolts that go on the exhaust studs. Doink. 10 millimeter. When you tighten these, don't tighten them all on one shot. You want to alternate back and forth. You just want to snug up one side, snug the other, snug, snug, snug until you get them up to spec. That ensures that you're seating the exhaust flange and the exhaust gasket properly. Otherwise, you can be cockeyed in there. Not good. One of these days, I might invest in a bike lift. We'll see. This is how I get my exercise. This is like scooter Pilates. Okay, so before you go cranking it, you want to make sure that you're pretty much lined up, everything's just barely snug, and then you want to get all 3 of your hanger bolts back here in, not tight yet. So snug it up, back it out just a little bit, and then put the other bolts in. If I can find the other bolts. It's very important to get this in there loose and located before you tighten the studs on the exhaust flange, because you can bend things out of shape or bind them, and then when you go to pull your exhaust off the next time, you end up taking the stud right out of the head. Ask me how I know. The reason I like doing a lot of these procedures without a torque wrench is, chances are, if you're on the road doing a scooter cannonball or something like that, you're not going to have those big tools with you. You're going to have normal hand tools, you know, ratchets, sockets, extensions, that's it. So it helps to kind of build your GERT meter to figure out how accurate you are. Check that off, you know, with a torque wrench after you're done, see how close you think you are. Okay, let's see where I think I am. I think I'm at about 24 to 30 foot-pounds right there. Let's see how good I am. There's 10, there's 20. Let's do 28 and see how close I am. If it clicks immediately when I put it on there, that means I'm over. If it turns a little bit, then I was a little under. I was already there. So I got those at about 30. That one at 30. That one about 30. That one turned a little bit. So let's go up a bit and see how close I was. So now I'm at 30. Let's do 34. Yeah, that was about 30, 32. Yep. So I'll look for those torque specs. If I find them in the manual, I'll put them in the video here, but pretty close. Time to check everything else out and go for a ride. Shock mount's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good, that's good, okay. Brake arm. Give her a spin. Brake's good. Make sure I don't have any funny exhaust noises.